So today I want to make a video on some of the previous callouts I've made recently on various Pokemon products, and I want to see how I did on them. So one of the first callouts I made when I started this YouTube channel was for Destined Rivals booster boxes. I made this video when it went from 220 to 250, and I told you guys this was an amazing opportunity to buy. A couple days later, it went up to about 299, and I told you guys anything under 300 is an amazing buy still. And last but not least, in this video, I basically tried to predict and I used some data to analyze how much Destined Rivals is going to be worth in September. And what do you know, right now it is the middle of September, and we are at $400 a booster box, just as I predicted in this video. So it's safe to say that I did pretty well with my Destined Rivals prediction, and I personally did pretty well with my personal investment into this set as well, right? I bought 26 booster boxes at an average price of about $230 a box, but I still want to accumulate Destined Rivals, right? This is still part of my long-term plan. This is probably one of the safest bets that I currently have. The next product I told you guys to buy was Prismatic Evolutions. This was a box that was sitting at about that $200 price point for the longest time. I went out and I accumulated a couple of boxes. I wish I bought more, right? I only bought about 6, but you know, that's still a good amount, a good initial position. And quickly, this has now shot up to about that $400 price range. So it's already doubled from the price I made this video. And for Obsidian Flames, the same thing happened. I made this video kind of ranking all the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, and I told you guys that Obsidian Flames at around that $350 price point was an amazing opportunity, and I bought one myself, which I bought more, of course, but hindsight is 2020. I was glad I got one because this shot up to about $600 to $700 now. So it's already doubled from the time I made this video. And most recently, I told you guys to buy 151 and Paldean Fates booster bundles at about $60 a booster bundle. I made this about a month and a half ago, and I told you guys the two best Pokemon investments right now. This was late July, early August of 2025. I told you guys these are the two investments I am currently picking up, and I did so, right? I bought a few dozen of each, and you know, I was able to do very well because these are now both around that $100 price point. Now, with all of that being said, with all these predictions I made in the past, you might be wondering what I'm buying currently right now, and I'm going to show you what exactly I'm targeting right now in this video. So first and foremost, we have Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles and regular Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. Now, these booster bundles are currently going for anywhere from $50 to $60, right? Some people locally are still selling them for around that $50 to $55 range, and I think that is an amazing price personally, right? Prismatic Evolutions is always going to be one of the top sets in all of Scarlet and Violet. Taking a look at the card list for Prismatic, you can see the total set value is still easily over $4,000, still easily the top set of Scarlet and Violet based on total set value, and the Umbreon is actually going up in price now. It used to be about $850, and now it's kind of risen back to that $900 range. And a lot of these cards are kind of stabilizing, right? They're finding that floor. Prismatic is now getting closer and closer to being 1 year old, right? It came out the beginning of 2025, and we just have a couple months left until 2025 ends and we go into 2026, right? So Prismatic, once it hits that 1 year mark, you're going to start seeing some FOMO because people are going to be thinking, hey, you know, we only have a year, maybe a year and a half left to pick up Prismatic, right? I need to start accumulating now. But you don't want to start picking up Prismatic when everyone has that mindset, right? You want to pick up Prismatic when people are still looking elsewhere. People are looking at the hot, you know, next best thing like Phantasmal Flames, like Mega Evolution, maybe Destined Rivals, right? When people are looking at some of these sets going absolutely nuclear, that's when you want to look at the boring stuff, which is apparently Prismatic right now, which is kind of crazy, right? A set the caliber of Prismatic Evolutions is still able to be found cheap in the wild, and you're able to still find booster bundles at $50 to $60, and ETBs, they've risen a little bit. I think they're around that $115, $120 price point, but locally you can still find this for around $100, guys. $100 to $110, that's what I would pay for ETBs right now for Prismatic. These are personally the top 2 items I'm prioritizing right now. ETBs, I would say, are number 1, and booster bundles, I think you have a little bit more time to pick them up. That would be number 2. I think even for $120, $130, it's still a great buying opportunity. But obviously, if you can get it cheaper for close to $100, that would be the best buy. The next best buying opportunity that I'm targeting right now is going to be Journey Together booster box cases. Journey Together is a set that I think is becoming very underrated. let's take a look at the cards in Journey Together, right? We have this Lily's Clefairy, which if you watch my last video, I ranked it pretty high in terms of the top chase cards for Scarlet and Violet. I think this card is actually pretty undervalued at $151. Lily's always a very, very popular trainer, and Clefairy is a popular enough Pokemon to, I think, carry this set really far into the future. I think the Salamence is really awesome. I could even possibly see the Salamence being number 1, possibly, but it's going to be a really good number 2. And then this End Zoroark is very promising as well. I think this has a ton of potential. And then we have some other cool SIRs like the Volcanion. We have some illustration rares like the Articuno, that's really cool, Wailord, and the End Reshiram. And the booster box cases I would be buying are going to be the enhanced booster box, which is actually still cheaper than the regular booster box, right? Currently, you can find these cases for about $1,400, right? I've seen them for even less. I've actually seen one for about $1,300, which I probably will be buying very soon. I think that is a great buying opportunity. If you can find Journey Together booster boxes, especially booster box cases for under $230, under $220 a box, that is an absolute must buy in my opinion. Currently, this is one of the cheapest. I think it's actually the cheapest Scarlet and Violet booster box, right? This is cheaper than Scarlet and Violet base. This is cheaper than Stellar Crown. This is the cheapest Scarlet and Violet booster box, and I really don't think that Journey Together is the worst Scarlet and Violet set, right? I think this set is better than something like Stellar Crown. I think it's better than SV base. I think personally it's better than Obsidian Flames, right? It's probably neck and neck, but I would honestly put Journey Together over Obsidian Flames, and I would put Journey Together probably in the middle of the pack in terms of Scarlet and Violet sets. But right now it's the absolute cheapest set, right? The data just doesn't line up. I think this is undervalued, and that is why I'm going to be buying a case very soon, probably right after I make this video and upload it. Now, the last item I think is undervalued and I'm currently targeting to make some purchases is going to be Surging Sparks booster boxes. I think this booster box is very undervalued right now. It's actually one of the cheaper booster boxes as it's only around $250 still. And I think if you can find this for around that $250 range, or maybe even higher than that, even $260, I would still think that Surging Sparks is an absolute must buy. This is a really good set. This is definitely not a bad set at all. I would say this is one of the better sets of Scarlet and Violet. Let's take a look at the cards, right? Of course, the Pikachu is really good. Then you have the Latias, which I think honestly will eventually carry this set. I think this Latias is very underrated, especially since it combines with the Latios. Then we have the Milotic, which I think is one of the best artworks we've ever gotten in Scarlet and Violet, and this is really cool because it combines with the Phoebus right here. I really love the fact that Surging Sparks has 2 of these connecting cards. It really reminds me of the tag teams that we had in Sun and Moon. Of course, we have the Gold Pikachu. Not a fan of gold cards, but it's nice to have in a set, in a Pikachu-themed set. And then we have the Hydreigon. We have some trainers. We have the Executor, which I think is also a really nice artwork. And one thing I mentioned before that I like about Surging Sparks is the fact that it's very thematic, right? It sticks to its theme. It sticks to that kind of dragon tropical theme with the Latias, the Pikachu, the Milotic, kind of the Executor, right? It's very vibrant and tropical, and you know, a lot of these cards are dragons. And I think that theme really makes it stand out amongst all of the other Scarlet and Violet sets, and sets that stand out will do well into the future. I actually already have 13 booster boxes of Surging Sparks. I bought these back all the way back in October when I pre-ordered them for like 120 bucks each, and I haven't bought any more Surging Sparks since, but for $250 I still think it's a buy, and I'm honestly ready to pull the trigger on more booster boxes, and it will raise my average, but I'm still going to buy it because I believe in Surging Sparks. I think it's one of the better sets of SV. I think right now, compared to a lot of the other SV sets that have run up, I think it's undervalued. So these are the current sets that I'm buying, the current products: Prismatic, Journey Together, and Surging Sparks. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions, right? About my past predictions of Destined Rivals, you know, all these PC ETBs, 151, Paldean Fates, and what you think about my current buy list. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.